Our next ProTalk speaker is our keynote speaker, and he is Mr. Jerome Wade, and he is the Chief Epic Officer. I love that. He is the Chief Epic Officer of the Epic Advantage. And Jerome is going to talk about the elite producer, how business and sales professional achieve the extraordinary. I'm really looking forward to it. Jerome, it's great to see you in the great outdoors. You are on, my man.
Awesome. Jerome, I'm so glad to get to see everybody today. I am broadcasting live from Northwest Montana in the deep woods here, and I'm excited to get to share with you today some key strategies that I know will help you change the game. Listen, we're all dealing with a new reality today because of the impact and influence of COVID. So what I'm going to walk you through today are going to be some simple steps to help you get greater results. First thing that I need you to do, because many of you have been sitting in front of a screen for the last hour, 2 hours maybe, I want you right now to everybody stand up. So everybody, I can't see you. You can see me, but I want everybody to stand up right here. And this is what I want you to do. I'm going to put this into the chat room here. I want everybody to say, show me the money. Show me the money. All right. So this is what we're going to do. I need to hear you. Come on. Text it in the chat box right now. Let me hear some people so I know that you can hear what I'm saying. So I know, there we go. Glenn Felty, show me the money. I love it, Glenn. And by the way, great presentation to start off the event. All right, Jennifer, thank you. Show me the money. So guys, let's talk about this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now and let you guys in on just what I want to share with you today. And let me see if I can make this work correctly. Let me see if this gets us where we want to be. All right. Are you guys, give me a second here. What are you seeing on the screen right now? Tell me what you're seeing. I see show me the money a bunch from everybody. Awesome. And I am trying to make sure.
We're seeing actually the hopping. Before, whatever you did before that, your presentation was showing just fine.
Okay, I'm going to go to that because I won't be able to see the live screen. So Jennifer, jump in anytime to coach me.
Yep, you're there. It looks good.
Okay. All right, can you see the full screen now?
Sure can.
Awesome. Okay, great. Listen, we're going to walk through some things, but let me tell you a little bit about what part of the country I'm in right now. If you have seen the movie The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, that's exactly where the part of the country this movie was set in, the deep woods of Montana. And I'm telling you, this is one of the most rugged wildernesses I've ever been. My wife and I, 6 weeks ago today, actually, we sold our house in Albuquerque. We now full-time RV the United States. We're going to do this for a little while, part of just our strategies of creating our best life ever. But I watched this movie the other night simply because we were coming to this part of the country, and we're going to be here for about the next month in this area anyway, Glacier National Park and stuff. But The Revenant was a powerful story. If you've seen it, you'll understand it. If you haven't, you need to watch it. However, it's a bit gore. But in the movie, we see this mountain man who's attacked viciously by a grizzly bear. And the story goes, as he's, out with a bunch of friends and they're trappers, they're doing their business. They get into some trouble. Then he gets attacked by a grizzly bear. And he is maimed from head to toe. Well, they decide to leave him for dead. And the word revenant means the one who has come back or returned as if from the dead. And for some of you right now, I feel your pain because when COVID hit in March, all of the stops and everything they shut down and limited and everything else, my business lost 98% of everything that my speaking business was doing at the time. 98% of my business lost in a 48-hour period of time. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of business. And I can tell you, it feels overwhelming. And I can imagine many of you are facing that today. Because the truth is, what happens to us is this. This is the COVID reality we've been living in. For many of you, all of a sudden, if you were like me, it stopped you dead in your tracks. How do we respond? What do we do? Where do we take our business from here? How do we get it to the next level? How do we address the issues? How are we going to deliver our products or services? How am I going to deliver events? Well, obviously, digital events are one solution. But it stopped so many of us today dead in our tracks. I know it stopped many of you. It stopped me. The second thing that it did was this. It actually stooped us. Not only did it stop us, it stooped us because it put us in a position of uncertainty. When is this going to end, or when is this going to continue, or how are we going to address this? What's coming? What's going? Where will this take us ultimately? And then what it finally did is put so many business leaders, sales professionals in a place where you are stuck. And there may be some of you today that are in that stuck position because things aren't changing that much in New Mexico as far as the COVID limitations. We've got some great things. New Mexico is a wonderful state, huge opportunities, yet we're all facing the challenges of COVID limitations. So you might be there today where you're stopped, where you're stooped, or where you're stuck. But today, with what I'm going to talk about, are going to help you break through those barriers, because this is where every single one of us to be. We want to be at the top of our game. We love it when the graph, goes from the bottom left to the top right. We love that. That's where we want. That's what I want. That's what we all want in life. We want it in our business. We want it personally. We want it professionally. And this is where the Elite Producer Solution comes in for you. Because the strategies we're going to walk through today, they're not rocket science. In fact, I fear that when I start sharing them with you, you're going to check this off, or you're going to turn the volume down because you're going to think it's way too simple. But the fact is, even losing 98% of your business, when you follow these principles, you can recreate the momentum you once had and create the life that you've always dreamed. But this is where we want to be. So here's what I'd like for you to do right now. I'd like everybody to go to jeromewade.com, grab your mobile phone, or while you're watching this, just don't turn off the screen you're on. Just open a new window in your search engine. Go to jeromewade.com/pro, and I want you to take my Elite Producer Survey. Because right now, you may be wondering where you're at. You may be wondering, am I in the green zone of go zone, right? Because that's where all of us want to be. We want to be in the go zone of success. Some of you are there. Some of you might be, and maybe many of you are in the yellow zone, which is kind of the land between. It's kind of teetering because of it's on, it's off. It's kind of getting some traction. It's losing some traction. But then there's going to be some of you that are in the red zone. And what I want you to do right now is take this quick survey, jeromewade.com/pro. I'm just going to ask you a couple of kind of revealing questions, some questions for you to think through. But here's what's important about this. And I'm just going to talk while you're taking the survey. So go ahead and take that survey right now. And by the way, feel free to share this with your team, share this with your staff, share this with your organization, share this with your board of directors, share this with your team, whoever it may be. Whether you're a sales organization or not, you're trying to get results. You're looking to activate revenue. You're looking to build extraordinary high-value relationships. You need to take this survey. So as you take this survey, just be honest about the questions, be honest about your answers, because that will help you then turn to a solution that's going to be relevant, a solution that's going to be practical, and a solution that's going to get you the results that you want and that you deserve. So go to jeromewade.com/pro, take this quick survey, because here's what's going to happen. Once you identify where you are, then you know where to go. Because there's so many people in their organization, they don't know exactly where they are. They have an idea, kind of, but they don't know exactly or precisely where they are. And that's what this survey is going to help you do. And it's really quick, it's really simple, and it's very accurate. So take this quick survey. Now, for sake of time, I'm going to keep moving forward, but I want you to make sure that you take this survey. Because of this survey, I'm going to be sending you some free digital coaching tools to help you create that elite producer mindset, the elite producer results, the elite producer life, and the elite producing business. So we're going to keep moving forward. Let me share with you right now 3 mistakes that I see so many producers, business owners, entrepreneurs make. Number one, right now, one of the most significant realities, and I've had to overcome this myself, is being overwhelmed by uncertainty. As a professional speaker, I speak all over the world. When those 48 hours hit back for me in March, I lost international events. Of course, I lost domestic events. I lost some amazing opportunities that were coming down. Now, we'll get those back over time. I know that. But the reality is, overwhelmed by uncertainty, because there really weren't questions being answered. There wasn't a concrete path, and there still isn't a concrete path. So we have to lead through the uncertainty, but this is one of the mistakes so many are making today. We're overwhelmed by uncertainty. Here's the second mistake that I see so many people making. This one's huge. If you don't remember anything else I say, remember this one right here, is we're asking the wrong questions. When we're trying to accelerate results or activate revenue, or we're trying to build high-value relationships, we start asking the wrong questions. And anytime you ask the wrong question, you get the wrong answer. Today, I'm going to give you 3 questions that are the right questions that you need to be asking today. And here's the third mistake that I see so many entrepreneurs, business leaders, and sales professionals making. It's this one right here, is that they have forgotten, or they are forgetting, the basics. COVID knocked you off tracks. It sideswiped you. It was a tsunami swell that caught you off guard. And the way back to success is the way that we created it in the first place, and that's getting back to the basics. So I want you to self-identify right now. What of these mistakes have you made or are you making today that might be the limiting factor, that might actually be the thing that is keeping you from the next step or from the breakthrough or from getting the results or from closing the deal or from going to the next level that you want to get to? So let's keep moving in this, because these are going to kind of create a framework for us as we now walk through some key strategies. So think about this today. Here is the first right question that I want you to begin to really, allow your mind to consider. Now, again, simple question, right? So simple. What do you want? A number of years ago, I was coaching a chiropractic agency, and they were trying to get to the next level. And one of their top chiropractic docs sat down with me for a one-on-one executive coaching session. And I remember sitting across, the table, the desk from him. And I said, "Hey, Rafe," I said, "what do you want?" And he kind of looked at me. He was stooped, right? He stumbled in his words. He kind of was trying to figure out, I don't even know how to answer the question. That's why it's a simple question. What do you want? Well, it took us 6 weeks for him to finally answer that question. That question has a lot more complexity than it seems at the surface. But here's why this question is so important. We have to begin to really clearly and vividly look at exactly what it is that we want. Because so many people, they don't have an answer to that question. They're stuttering, they're stumbling to really get it out. And if you want next level results, if you want elite producer strategies and solutions that work, you've got to know exactly, precisely what you want. Now, I've put some subwords here to help you get the depth and weight of what I'm trying to get to here. And first of all, you've got to have vivid clarity. You see, when you have clutter in your matrix, in your thinking, when you have a fog, when you're leading in a fog like COVID has created for so many of us, if we don't have vivid clarity, we're just going to be meandering without purpose. We're going to be, pushed from side to side. We're going to be making decisions that are poor. We're going to be trying to make business decisions that get zero results, that might cost us a lot of money and never get us a return. So in answering this question today, I want you to consider, what is it that you want personally and professionally? For example, when my wife and I decided to sell our house in Albuquerque and get on the road for at least the next 6 months or so, we had a very clear purpose behind this. We're just trying to create our best life every day and taking full advantage of COVID. To be honest with you, COVID was a big influence for us. While business is lower or slower, we took the opportunity to travel and to see the world. That was something that we knew that we wanted. And we're going to keep doing this for a while. But we have vivid clarity on that. And so today, I want you to think about, what do you want and how vivid is your clarity? Now, here's the second aspect of this that I want you to see today. When you answer the question, what do you want? You're going to have to bring fierce focus to that. So many people, I've made this mistake. I mean, many times over. In my younger years, I'm 52 now. I've been leading as an executive leader for, over 30 years now. I can tell you there's been many times where I had multiple focuses, right? Well, I can tell you, when you have multiple focuses, nothing is in focus. Fierce focus is saying, listen, I am going to be obsessive, intent. I am going to have a laser ability to just narrow down on one thing that I want more than anything. This is the most important thing. And that's fierce focus, where nothing will get in the way. Nothing will come in between me and that vision of what it is that I want. And here's the third aspect. Then you're going to have to fight an intense battle. So many of us, and I can tell you, in New Mexico alone, I've launched, several nonprofit organizations and now something like 6 businesses in the state of New Mexico. New Mexico has its unique challenges. Land of opportunity, no question about it. However, it has its unique challenge. Not one of my businesses or organizations came easy. They've all come with an intense fight. And that's where you're at today. That's where we're at. And COVID has added another element of recreating momentum. For example, in the speaking industry, when I'm speaking for conference and events, sometimes that's a 2 to 3 year marketing process. 2 to 3 years of marketing was shut down in a day. So now for me, again, to recreate that kind of impact and influence, I've got to realize this is an intense fight. It's 2 to 3 years now for me, and it could be longer because of the new realities of events and what it's doing to the speaking industry and event industry. But I know now it's an intense fight. I've got to have fierce focus, and I've got to have vivid clarity. So let me ask you this. Do you know what you want? Now, right now, I can't see the comments. I'll get to see them here in just a second. But I want you to write down in the chat box here, what is it that you want? And I want you to be specific about it. If you're going to give general answers, like, I just want to be healthy. Hey, that's something great to want. But be specific. I want to be cancer-free. I want to have I want to weigh a certain amount, or I want to have a certain body fat percentage, or I want a certain level of income, or I want a certain level of sales over the next 9 days, or the next 90 days, or the next 9 months. I want something very specific. So this is the first question that is so important. It's a simple question, but it's a very complicated answer, because you have to filter out all of the things that you want to find the thing that matters most. What's your one thing? Now let's go to the second question. The first question is this: what do you want? The second question is now this: what's holding you back? Now, as an executive coach and a sales coach, this is the question that I am asking all the time. We have to know what a person wants. That's the first question. Let's find out what the organization wants. Let's find out what the sales manager wants. Let's find out what the executive or executive team wants. But then we have to ask this question: what's holding you back? And here's what's so interesting to me, and this is part of what I love about the work that I get to do, is that when I ask this question, what's holding you back, oftentimes it's not what they think it is. Like, for example, right now, we could say what's holding us back, and we might be right to a degree. We could say right now what's holding us back is COVID, right? COVID uncertainties. COVID, we could even say COVID politics if we wanted to. We could say COVID economy. We could say COVID restrictions. We could use COVID as the fall guy. It'd be easy to blame COVID right now, easy to point the finger at COVID, but is that really the issue? Is that really the struggle? For example, I've got a business colleague of mine who has seen a 25% increase in business since the day COVID hit. 25% increase in business, $1 million business, and he is killing it, crushing it. See, he chose not to let COVID be the limiting excuse for his performance, his productivity for his organization. Now, the other facts of organizations or industries like mine, COVID was devastating, but now we have to look at the real factors of what are holding us back. Let me give you 3 of them that you may have never considered before, because you might be trying to create the right business strategy. You might be trying to create the right structure or the right culture in your organization, and those are all very important. But these 3 right here actually are the key limiters right now. The first one is an unhealthy mindset. Now, for those of you that know me, I'm a global adventurer. I've done numerous events. I've trekked Base Camp Everest. I've kayaked the Grand Canyon, been to Machu Picchu, been all over the world, done a lot of things. And right now, Jody and I are on our own adventure, creating our best life every day. But a number of years ago, when we were kayaking the Grand Canyon, there was 3 kayakers. I was one of them, and 3 rafters. We had a private permit. And we're going down the river. Now, I'm the only adult kayaker. I have 2 14-year-old kayakers. Now, those 2 kayakers were crazy awesome. But I remember this: 6 months before we ever got on the river, the water levels of the Colorado River started rising. 2.5 times their normal volume is what when we put on in Lee's Ferry, 2.5 times its volume. Now, it went from 10,000 CFS to about 25 to 30,000 CFS for the entire time we were running the Grand Canyon. But I can tell you, when you have that level of increase of water volume, and I am kind of the safety boater with these kids, it put a lot of pressure on me. And for 6 months prior to the trip, I was experiencing an unhealthy mindset, anxiety, worry, fear. And I know some of you are thinking, well, rightly so. But the truth is, it's something that happens to us in business every day. We have an unhealthy mindset. I took a group of executives down the Rio Cajon River in Guatemala, and I remember coming to shore one afternoon. We're taking a little break, and I find this clump of rock to the side, and I just take this quick little cat nap. And an executive comes up to me and said, Jerome, I'd give anything to sleep a night like you just slept the last few minutes on a pile of lava rocks. Wasn't comfortable. I just fell asleep. And his issue was an unhealthy mindset. See, today, the thing that may be holding you back is your mindset. And Glenn did a great job kicking off today's session with the right mindset. Here's the second thing that may be holding you back today, and that's unknown motivators. Those unknown motivators can be things like uncertainty that we're dealing with COVID. That could be the influences of friends, the influence of the politics and business. It could be the influence of a client who's asking us to do things that maybe aren't inside of our wheelhouse, but we're still wanting to do it because we don't want to lose the client. It's unknown motivators. So we have to look at those things that are manipulating, is a better word than motivating, but that's what's happening. It's manipulating behaviors that are negative or destructive. Now, here's the third thing that may be holding you back today, and that is this one, and this one's huge. It's the unresolved issues of life. And good news for everybody and bad news, we all have issues. I've got issues, you've got issues, we've got issues. Well, 2 or 3 years ago, I'm meeting with an executive woman. She's got a great business in Albuquerque. And I began asking her these same questions. What do you want? And then what's holding you back? And I walk her through this same process that I'm walking you today. And when I got to this, tears started flowing. She knew instantly what her unresolved issue was. See, this was a woman in her mid-50s, had seen success. She had made an impact in the world. She was doing well. However, she just wasn't getting to the place she knew she could and should. And when I asked her about her unresolved issues, those emotions just began to surface. She said, for all of my life, I have been trying to get my mother's approval. You see, she lived in a home where, mom made it clear she was never good enough. She was never going to be much. She wasn't ever going to accomplish much. And so she lived with that unhealthy mindset, those unknown motivators and those unresolved issues for her entire adulthood until her mid-50s. You see, these questions are very important questions. Remember, one of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs, sales professionals, executives, business owners, business leaders are making today, they're asking the wrong questions. These are the right questions. What do you want? What's holding you back? Now, let's go to the next question here. I want you to write this one down. This one's very important because we can know what we want, then we can identify what's holding us back. But the question now is this: what promises will you keep? See, it's all about self-integrity, and promises are when we write down a list of to-dos or we write down an action plan, and I would assume most of you have a business plan that you're working from. Those are intentions, and in a sense, those are promises that you're making. And so you have to come to this place today of saying, all right, if this is what I want, I'm going to have to make some promises to myself. Right? Because in order for me to get this, I'm going to have to do A, B, C, right? I'm going to have to do more, or I'm going to have to do these specific things. If I know vividly, specifically, clearly what I want, then I have to make these correlating promises, and not only make those promises, I have to keep those promises. You can be a promise maker and get nothing done. The person who gets things done are the promise keepers. Right? And here's what's so crazy. I've done this, you've done this, we've done this. We make promises to ourselves that we continually break. Like, for example, if a client asks me to do something and I agree to do it and I make a commitment to do it, I'll do everything within my ability to make sure that I deliver this promise. For example, when DJ asked me to be a part of this event, I wanted to be a part of it. I'm in the backwoods of Montana. We're stopwatch country. I don't know. He might come running out one of these trees right now. I don't know. But I made a commitment to her. So I had to make sure that I found a way to get connected with you today. So I've got to make promises and I keep them. But with clients, no problem. But with ourselves, we violate or break those promises every single day. Well, I'll do this, but I won't do that. And I won't do this again. And I'll stop doing this. Glenn talked about health and nutrition in his presentation. We make health commitments. We make mental commitments. We make emotional commitments. We make practical commitments, spiritual commitments. But then we break them because we're not keeping our promises to ourselves. These are the 3 questions you should be considering today. What do you want? What's holding you back? And what promises will you keep? You see, these are the foundations of elite producers. These 3 questions will help you accelerate results, activate greater revenue, and help you build high-value relationships. These will all fuel you becoming an elite producer to creating the life, the success, and the business that you want. So here's what I want to do right now. I'm going to exit out of the screen share, and let me see what I need to do in here. So Jennifer, help me stop screen share. Do I just click that button? Probably it is.
Yep,
There it
you
is.
did. And we lost your camera. So we can hear you, but we just can't see you right now.
Okay. Can you still hear us then? No problem?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. It's showing me on the screen on my end, and it may be an internet thing, but at least you can hear me, so that's good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's do this right now. I want everybody to close your eyes. Now, we're not going to do anything spooky, goofy, or weird, but I want you right where you're seated right now to close your eyes, and I want you to think through this. I want you to go from today. Now, we've all been through a brutal, and we've been through an experience like Leonardo DiCaprio was when he was attacked by that grizzly. COVID has been a grizzly bear attack. What I want you to do right now is I want you to go from the present into the future. And maybe that's a year from now. And I want you to envision what it is that you want. I want you to envision what specifically, vividly it is that you want in life, or you want out of your business, or you want in your relationships, or you want spiritually, or you want mentally or emotionally. I want you to envision that right now. Okay, but I want you to envision it as if it's a future tense, not a present tense. This is something I want, not something I have just yet. So allow yourself, give yourself permission, whatever it is that you want. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong here. Allow yourself to envision future tense. This is what I want. And now let's go a year from now. And I want you to see it as if it is happening. So we're going to go a year from now. So it's 1 year from today, which would be August 17th, 2021. And we are at a place where we have seen the vision fulfilled. What we dreamed on August 17th, 2020 is now reality. It's August 17th, 2021. And I want you right now to go to that moment in the present tense. What does it feel like? What does it feel like to have that grizzly bear attack behind you? What does it feel like to have your business in momentum and forward motion again? What does it feel like to be getting the results that you deserve? What does it feel like? What is the emotion? What is the moment that you are in right now? And here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to start responding. I want you to write this into the chat. What does it feel like? Some of you are just saying, man, it's a happy place. I get that. Some of you are saying, Jerome, listen, my dream has come true. It's a peaceful place. My dream has come true. It's a fulfilling place. It's a meaningful place. So go ahead and use the chat box right now. And I want you, there we go. Diana says, she said she feels deep satisfaction. Absolutely. When your dreams are fulfilled, that's exactly what it feels like. Deep satisfaction. Somebody else comment. What are you feeling? What are you sensing when you see this? You feel empowering. Yeah, DJ, absolutely. It does feel empowering because there's a lot about what we've been through the last 6 months, and the sickness you've been through has been disempowering. Now you feel empowered. I love this. Stephanie says peaceful, no fear. Absolutely. So these are the things that I want you to capture right now, because let that emotion, that experience you're having now that's a year away, be the fuel that drives every decision as you get what you want, as you identify what's holding you back, and as you keep the promises that you make. I love it. More responses, room to give, less stress. That's perfect. Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, ladies and gents, it's been such an honor for me to share this with you, and it's been really cool for me to be here in the deep woods of Montana. I'd like to, I guess, Jennifer, do you have some questions, or are we just going to ferret the questions from the chat box here?
Yeah, I didn't see any questions come in, but good job on getting engagement here. This has been fun.
Awesome.
Really
well, let's just take a couple minutes. And if you have a question right now that you want me to specifically address, I'd love to spend it, because I think we got a couple more minutes here. Am I right, Jennifer?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go a couple minutes. I haven't seen Jeffrey come in to tell us we're done, so we should be good.
Okay, good. So let's go ahead and write some questions. Glad to hear that it was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. And I know this was disappointing to a degree. We'd love to all be together, but it's really exciting that we're still together today. So this is cool. Somebody write a question. What's your greatest challenge right now? Here's a question. Let me ask you this. What is your greatest unmet challenge in your organization? What is the greatest unmet need in your organization? So what I'm asking you right now is to identify what is that thing that you need to address, but you don't have a solution for right now, right? What is it, the one thing that you are you are struggling with in your business, you're struggling with in your leadership. Let's see. Oh, Diana asked, was it difficult to sell home and venture out? It was difficult for my wife. Not as difficult for me, because I'm an adventurer. Great question, Diana. But it was certainly more difficult for my wife. She likes a lot more structure and security than I need. But we've kind of have had a happy medium, and we're having a blast. Today starts the 6th week of our adventure here. So hey, Liz. So the biggest challenge for you is finding employees. Yeah, Liz, I understand that, and I hear that from a lot of New Mexico businesses. Almost every business that I've worked with has identified that as a challenge. And certainly it is. It can definitely be a challenge. I tell you what, Liz, reach out to me and let's have a conversation. I'd be glad to strategize with you on maybe some solutions to help finding more employees. So anybody else have other questions that you would like an answer to, or you'd like some insight on?
We have a quiet group, don't we?
Dude, that's right. Well, guys, it's been a privilege, been an honor. Thank you so much, DJ. You guys are rock stars. Jeffrey, appreciate and value you. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you as I check out and go back to grizzly bear country here.
Thank you, Jerome, and we appreciate your taking the time to be as inspiring as you always are, and be careful with that bobcat back there. It was in the but anyway, great to see you again, Jerome. We really appreciate it.